day that they found out whatever happened in their life is for their own good. And so the conclusion of that particular business, movie is that all is well. Whatever happened, even though you invite a person, they rejected you, it's not a bad thing. It tests you how strong your heart. If two people rejected you, you quit yourself, you don't deserve to sponsor them.
Right, right,
Isn't it?
yes,
Because you are responsible for them when they come in.
right,
If you quit sooner than they do, you are not deserved to sponsor them.
right.
Right. And so in this particular business is that sometimes to win, what is the next?
Sometimes you lose.
No. The clicker is not working properly. Sometimes you learn. You never lose. You never lose. When somebody, you want to recruit them, they don't join, it's still for your own good. You learn one more thing, you have never lose. Because they were not your downline to begin with. What you lose? Nothing. If you somehow master this mindset and you are fearlessly to go to do anything. Thank you. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so it's very, very important is that in this business, we never lose anything. Anything you do, you gain something. Either experience, a new partner, or new customer. Never lose. So if something that you do, you never lose, would you do it? If you go to a casino, somebody so happen behind you and pat on your shoulder, Steven, tell you what, here's the chips. Not only this much, just play, I give you endless chip, you would never lose. Whatever you win is yours. Whatever lose is mine. Would you pay?
Of course.
Yeah. You will never lose. That's what Market America is. So go out to talk to people. If they don't come in, they lose, not you.
No.
Right?
Right,
Right? It's just a story.
right.
Many years ago, when I started business, I know the Photoshop business is going downhill, right? I called my Photoshop friend and came to one of the UBP to evaluate it, and then afterwards, nothing happened. Well, I don't know if my follow-up, whatever, he went to China and do another network marketing company, right? So I said, well, that's probably, he's saying no, right? 13 years later, I was in LA, attend a product symposium. Son of a gun, I see him sitting there. The first reaction is, shoot. He's sitting in the product symposium, that means he probably came in, right? At that point, I was a little bit angry. So I don't even say hello to him. He did not see me. That shows you how human we are. And then as I go into the restroom, and I bump into him. And then, I said, oh, you came in. Oh yeah, my uncle used the product real well, and then he dragged me in. But I came in, I learned about it, and I even went to the convention, and I was joking, see, 13 years, you cannot escape the whatever of Market America, you cannot hide, right?
Right.
He started to be very angry and serious. You son of a gun, you don't drag me in 13 years ago, so I lost all 13 years.
Wow. Wow.
So actually, if you don't drag a person to come in, actually it's their rules.
Right.
And so about a few months later, when I go to Taiwan, I met a friend who I waited for 14 years. I followed for 14 years. So I sat her down, have lunch, I said, recently I have bad experience that somebody complained me doesn't drag on them to come into the business. I said, I follow up you for 14 years. How about you join today? She says, okay. And then she's still in the system right now, a few years later. Okay, so the fourth lesson is that I remember about like a month or so when I go into the system and go into calling. One of the topic is that what is your answer about what is shop.com? Back then it was market, right? So everybody got their own answer, or it's a product brokerage company, or it's an opportunity allow me to use 2 to 3 years to retire early, so on and so forth, right? And my senior partner, which is my senior and senior partner, her answer is that shop.com is what you treated it as.
Right.
And at the time I was saying, oh shit, what do you mean? I don't understand what you say. And later on, as I do the business and see myself and seeing some of the partners, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
You treat it as $1 million business, you got
Right.
$1 million business.
Right.
See how many $1 million club member, right? If you treat it as a part-time, then you're getting a part-time income.
Right. Right.
You're treating it as a hobby. Hey, there's a lot of fun in doing the business, right? But you're not getting the money because you're coming in for the fun. And some people treat it as an illegal business. Well, they never do anything about it, and they probably quit, right?
Right.
So that's exactly what it is. And so look at all these $1 million club members, and the only common
Right.
between them is that they treat it as $1 million club business.
Right.
So they press on no matter what happened. And some of the story you listen to some of the big leaders, it scared the heck of you. What happened if it happens to you? But yet they got through that. So they are making millions. And believe it or not, Marion Paul makes 10 million, over 10 million. Do you hear the story that, oh, my husband went to Taiwan and carelessly, I bought a house for $4.5 million cash. you heard that, right?
Yeah.
In last year's, I said, oh, okay, carelessly, okay. You have that kind of cash around, okay? Well, because they have put their effort in the beginning. So now they are having the kind of lifestyle somebody dreamed of, right? Okay, the next lesson. It's probably one of the lessons impact me the most is that when I joined the business, it was my very first local in LA. It was an English local. That particular speaker told a story that there was a Russian father and son came from Russia to New York, and then the dad brought the son to a very nice buffet. Of course, a boy from a very poor area come into a New York nice buffet, that would be like heaven, right? And then the dad says, see, in this country, there's a lot of good things, just like what you see here. And you can pick and choose anything you want to,
Right.
as long as at the end of the line you're willing to pay for it.
Right.
And so what he's saying is that in order for you to get the best of tomorrow, you have to give up the best of today in order to get the best of tomorrow,
Right.
right? So nothing is for free. There is no free lunch. Freedom is not free.
Right.
Just like we are enjoying this piece of time, this country, because a lot of people putting their life in line. Well, how about I want to get this opportunity to thank all those people in the service. How about stand up? And Navy, who's in Navy, who's in Marine, who's in other, how about they are putting their faith to kind of secure the freedom that we enjoy.
Right.
So it's very important that when you doing the business and when you've gone through obstacles, keep this in mind. These obstacles, when it surface, it means something. And if you've gone through it, the residual income is probably yours. Okay, the next lesson, especially that we learned that during the COVID. Right now, I mean, we got so used to Zoom, right?
Right.
Believe it or not, until nowadays, people are still not coming into the physical event, because it's unsafe.
Right.
And they go to Costco every other day. It's all here. Because it's easy on Zoom. You can be in your underwear, pajamas, right?
Right.
So you don't have to face and you don't have to put makeup, right? So easy has long-term cost. Imagine if you have an organization, everybody is only met on Zoom, and someday when the next wave hits, your organization would be all disappear.
Right.
Because after all, this business is still people connection. That's called networking. We interact with each other, we know each other. That's why we promote people going to convention. It is not for the sake of the content in the convention. It is that few days that you are being with your team. And that is valuable. And just a joke, I told Tammy about it the other day. I went to Greensboro, well, because the hotel is a little expensive. It's a Sheraton hotel. And so we normally share 2 beds with 4 people in a room, right?
Right.
So a lot of time we have to kind of like working with the sidelines, so to make it up the rooms, right? It so happened I was assigned to the bed to a guy who belongs to another team that they get up at 4 o'clock to line up, right? And in the old days, it wasn't a assigned seat, right? So they have to sleep very early and get up very late.
Right.
Where my organization's culture is that we go beer, right, at nighttime, so we don't have to get up that early in the morning, right? Every time when I go back there, he sleep facing the other side. I don't know who he is, and then I just sleep on my side of the bed.
Yeah.
For 3 days, I don't know who he is. And 6 months later, when we go there again, and he came in, hey, Steven, do you remember me? I said, who are you? I slept with you for 3 days. Oh, that was you. Well, when you go to convention, and that little bit kind of builds up to know each other, to know the habit of each other, and the work ethic of each other. And so that particular bounding, it kind of drives you 1 year after 1 year after 1 year until you get to your destination. So it's very important. So don't look at it, it's small things. Well, small things add up. Okay? The next lesson is that the myth of success and failure, especially in the Asian culture. Well, look at this. Isn't it what we normally teach by our society, our culture, and our family? Is that, especially, I don't know about you, in my Chinese family, if you fail on something, it's very big, especially in school. It seems that fail is not supposed to happen. And all you do is just like towards success. So that's why when we have that kind of concept, we are kind of scared of trying different things. And especially trying to the way or to the degree that consider fail. And that's a huge myth. I don't know if you have the same mindset, but at the end of the day, when you look at everything and all those billionaires, and actually what they understand is that failure is a stepping stone for success.
Right.
Nobody can just do things one time and get success and never fail.
Right.
It's not happening.
Right.
So once you understand that when fail happens, you should be embrace it. And even you can welcome failure. And in Las Vegas, I mentioned about Edison invent the light bulb. When he tried it about 7,000 times, people already think this guy is like, yeah, it's like mentally having issue, right?
Right.
You fail 7,000 times, you don't quit.
Right.
He says, no, I never fail. I just using 6,000 times to prove those methods not working. It's a mindset issue.
Right.
If I don't try, how do I know?
Mhm.
But even though he said that, he realized that by himself trying and fail, too slow. So he hired a bunch of scientists in his lab to trial and fail exponentially. So by 10,000 times, the light bulb lights up. So not only we have to understand fail is part of success, and actually the faster you fail, the faster you succeed. Try that in recruiting. Later on, when we go to recruiting in the afternoon, I show you some numbers. It's all numbers game.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. The last lesson. Well, basically, one of the book is Rockefeller sent the book to write the 38 letters to his son and becomes a book. So he mentioned something about opportunity would not be equal in front of everyone. A lot of people, they compare with other people, say, oh yeah, my parents and have me so short or so whatever. Well, you think about it, just like what they say, somebody complain about not having shoes, and his complaint stops when he sees people who have no feet. Right? Life is not fair
Right.
to begin with. However, the end result is equal. There's so many success stories that the person starts with very, very low resources, but yet they overcome all the obstacles, they still succeed. So in our business, regardless who you were, who you are, it doesn't matter. And quite the opposite in this particular business is that if you try very hard to change yourself right now, and your change would be a magnet to the people you're trying to recruit or sell your products. People want to see the changes they want. It's not what you say, it's they see your result.
Right.
So if you're very shy, go out and take some classes and try to be not shy.
Right.
And when people, especially when you see the people that you know for a period of time they don't see you, they can pick up your change right away.
Right.
And they'll find out, what did you do? Why your change is something that I admire. I want to change myself too. And if you have a few extra pounds, try not to see your good friends and try very hard to knock down that few pounds. And after that, book everybody for lunch and expose yourself. That works. Definitely works. Okay. Okay. Also, sometimes when people saying that, oh, Joanne C. and Amber Young, and they make so much money, why do they still have to work hard? Isn't it? Maybe the money is not real. Or basically is that if people just looking at material and what they have becomes their destination, that is actually not really your final destination. It is the happiness that you are helping yourself and helping others. That kind of satisfaction is definitely what you are trying to have in your life. So a lot of time when we see these people, they have done it for so many years and they make so much money, they're still willing to travel different places to share their experience. It's because the joy that they're getting, not the money they needed right now. They already have money, they already have that taken care of.
Right.
Okay, so those are the 8 lessons I learned over the years, and so far so good.
Yes.
Maybe we can call off the day. Okay, so the whole thing, it all starts with you and me.
Right.
It has nothing to do with anybody else.
Right.
And a lot of people got affected by, look at my upline. Brought me in and doesn't put people underneath me and doesn't have BV put in I mean, it has nothing to do with that. If you are strong, you make it yourself. Don't
Right.
rely on other people.
Right.
And sometimes you look at your downline, see, you come in, you don't do anything, right? Well, if he doesn't do anything, how about sponsor another one who does everything?
Right.
It all starts with you. So let's dive into the really core issue of this training, which is the basic drive. So we take a look at attitude and knowledge. And in my presentation, because nowadays there's a lot of knowledge that you can obtain online in many of the training. So what I do is that I focus a little bit more on attitude, because I think that attitude really is the driving force,
Right.
even to a point that you obtain knowledge. Because if you don't have good attitude, even though a lot of resources and handed to you, you are not even valued that. Okay, so attitude is more important, okay? So when we got into the business and find out what our driving force for the business, instead of just focusing on how to do the business and what to do with it, it's more important to find out why do we do that. Because without that answer, everything it could be temporary. You go out and do something and then you find out you don't have interest, you don't do it, so on and so forth. But if you do find out your motivation, that's something you cannot stop doing that. And then the rest is easy. Okay? So let's play a little game here. If time and money is not the issue, what would you do now? Bali? Maybe Bali, Hong Kong. We just went to Japan.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of places you can go.
Right.
But why stuck here for 5 hours? Okay, let's do a reality check. Okay, how many years have you worked? Well, I see many years across the spectrum, different ages, right? Some are longer, some are shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Till this point, can you quit and enjoy your life? Do you have enough money to retire at this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't. Because one of the issues that you cannot be certain is that you don't know how long you will last, especially taking OPC. Right? So it becomes uncertain, right? Okay, so if you don't think I have enough, how many more years do you want to work till a point that you set a date for retirement?
Right.
67, or maybe later on is 72, or 65, or even 50. I don't know what reason you want to do this business, but I give you one of the reasons, hopefully that might impact you a little bit. In Boeing, the airplane company, they have a pension department. And they done research that the people who go into the business early, that actually they can retire earlier. For example, for people, they don't go to college, they start working at 20. At 50, they work 30 years, they can retire. Okay? And some people come in later or they want to retire later, they can. But what their statistic found out is that when people retire at age of 50, they claim their pension on their average for 36 years. So which means that when they retire at age 50, they can live up to 86. But if those people who retire 65, 65,
Mm-hmm.
The statistic shows, do you want to guess how long? Anybody? Wild guess? It's scary.
10 years.
18 months,
Uh-oh.
a year and a half.
Wow.
So what they do is that they find out why after 50 years, every year you work, every 2 years you work, you cut down your life in 1 year. That's scary. They want to find out why. Because when people get into 50, more likely you are having a lot of responsibility for kids, for money. In your jobs, you're probably a middle management, and you're scared of being fired. And so from 50 to 65 years, even though it's only 15 years, and that 15 years stress is done to your body. That when you work every 2 years, when you work every year, you cut down in 2 years.
Wow.
So isn't it, if you're not getting to 50 yet, especially a lot of young people, isn't it one of the purpose, if it's the most purpose that you want to do this business, is that to retire at 50?
Right.
And if you are over 50 right now, retire ASAP. that should be your main concern or main purpose of doing this business. Because you don't want to put that much stress, right? So how many more years you work? And then after you retire, how many more years you want to live in this world? Well, nobody knows, but yet that poses a threat to us because we don't know which regret we're going to be hit with. One regret is that when you're gone, your money, you still have money left. And the other regret is that your money is gone, you are still left. Which one do you want to face? But if you have a residual income, you don't really care, right? Right? So understand that. You have to understand these words. I honestly, when I look at this particular business for the first time, I have no clue what income structure is. I thought that income, isn't it like you work hard, you get more, you're lazy, you get less? And you'll find out those people, those lazy people play golf, they make a lot of money on Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. Why? Because they obtain a different income structure. So understanding that is very important. So what's the difference? Passive income is trading time for money. Most of us are doing. And passive income or residual income, or now we call supplemental income, is you're actually building asset. So the two variation and makes the world of difference. And the point is that which one do you want to obtain? We start with active income, and if you don't do anything until the day you die or until the day you retire, you're still getting active income. But if now you understand that Shop.com has an opportunity allow you to make these, although we don't use this term legally, but right now I'm not doing kind of official or nobody recording, and so I can say that I don't like the term supplemental income.
Yes.
What supplemental income means? You go to McDonald's, you're getting 15 hours an hour. That's supplemental income.
Right.
But that's not our type of income,
Right.
right? But because we have to meet the legal wording, so we have to put out that word, okay? And so understanding why in what situation you are getting different income structure, that's very important. Because when I exposed to this business, I have never seen this before. So to me, it's like blank. Okay, so 95% of the people are either working for somebody or working for themselves. Just like myself, I worked for somebody for 5 years and realized that's not what I want. I started working for myself. I thought that I have changed the income structure because right now I'm the boss. I make the call, right? Dumb. And find out I just found myself a job. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm not changing anything, right? And then the other 5%, some of them, they own a corporation. And it's so funny that when I go to Asia, I ask some of the entrepreneurs, they are doing business. I said, what do you think you are? They said, oh, isn't it business owner? Oh, I'm a business owner. I said, yeah, this business owner owns 500 employees.
Right.
And how many do you have? 5?
5.
Oh, you are right here. You're working for them. You pay them first,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you have to understand where you are. And that has a lot to do with what kind of effort you're putting in from now on. So the very first time, actually when I looked at shop.com, I did not learn about this.
Right.
But after like a year or so, Robert Kiyosaki wrote that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Right.
And from that book, I got the concept of this. I said, I want to be here.
Right.
But since I'm here, how can I be here? Well, let's take a look at what these people do. Why they're getting money chasing them is that you chase money. It's because they own a system. Why system is so important? Write down these few words. It saves your stress, time, and energy and money. That's why all rich people, they are playing with games. They're playing with system. They're building their system. And once the system is in place and tested, they're getting passive income. But can you do it yourself? And so after I realized that Robert Kiyosaki says that, well, since the system is so important, can you create one? Not many people can. You build a business all the way up to 500 plus people, not easy. The author, Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote this book, bankrupted twice before he make it the third time. Can you do it? Right? So if you can create a system, what can you do? Buy a system.
Right.
Do you have enough money? And we just joke about it. In Hong Kong, when you want to put $1 million Hong Kong, which is about 125,000 a year, to buy a 7-Eleven, one of the requirements is that it has to be husband and wife.
Right.
Why? Because 7-Eleven open 24 hours. If your employee doesn't show up, the husband take care 12 hours, the wife take care 12 hours. That is what? No life. So even though it sounds like a system, but it's not really much feasible for most of the people, right? And not to mention, you have to pay a lot of money. So what can we do? Are we locked out? Well, fortunately, we bumped into shop.com.
Right.
By accident, most of us. Right? I don't know about
Right.
you. I bumped in by accident. I even rejected 3 times. So, but now since you're here, it's not accident anymore. It
Right.
could be your destiny. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Amen.
And so that's why we have to leverage this system to build our business. And so MarketMakerShop.com basically is a system allows an average person like you and me to be an entrepreneur to earn ongoing income. Anybody here doesn't think you're an average person? Raise your hand.
Wait.
You don't think, oh no, I'm not an average person. I'm way above average. It's a funny story. One time I was in Diamond Bar in one of my downline's home to do a HVP. And on that particular presentation, I keep stressing, well, this business is for average person, average person, average person. And then one of the partner, actually it was the host, invited a pharmacist to come in. And then after the whole presentation, the next day I called my friend and I said, oh, how's your prospect react to what we said? He said, oh, he says it's not for him because he's not an average person. Although a pharmacist most likely is still trading time for money, right? That's still a average person, okay? And so basically, shop.com is for everybody. Well, I mean, in shop.com, some of the people we attract, they are very wealthy. And at one time, I have a